Dan RadioStyle, hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Got an awesome short Neville Nugget Goddard goodie today, and it really has to do with that moment when manifestation really occurs and why. And I think it's one of the key components that kind of rounds out this entire Power of Awareness book that we've been working on, and we're in Chapter 15, The Crown of Mysteries. So I really, like I said, this kind of ties into that one moment when we finally manifest what it is that we're creating. A lot of us are wondering when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. This, I think, really illustrates the place that we are at when it's finally happening. Is it an issue of thinking the right thoughts? No, not entirely. Is it an issue of feeling the thought fulfilled? Not entirely. Again, all these things play a part. Is it an issue of living in the end, a wish fulfilled? Not entirely. Is it maybe in relation to how long we can hold that thought, that feeling, that energy? I think we might be onto something. Let's see what Goddard says about that. The assumption of the wish fulfilled is the ship that carries you over the unknown seas to the fulfillment of your dreams. The assumption is everything. Realization is subconscious and effortless, right? Just realizing something doesn't take any effort. You're realizing that the feeling of the wish fulfilled is what's going to carry you there. So, Goddard continues, assume a virtue if you have it not. Act on the assumption that you already possess that which you sought. Blessed is she that believed, for there shall be performance of those things which were told her from the Lord. As the Immaculate Conception is the foundation of the Christian mysteries, so the Assumption is their crown. Psychologically, the Immaculate Conception means the birth of an idea in your consciousness, unaided by another. For instance, when you have a specific wish or hunger or longing, it is an immaculate conception in the sense that no physical person or thing plants it in your mind. It is self-conceived. Every man is the Mary of the Immaculate Conception, and birth to his idea must give. The Assumption is the crown of mysteries, because it is the highest use of consciousness. When in imagination you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are mentally lifted up to a higher level. This is where we're getting into the point, the higher level. Getting yourself to that place where you feel like you've already got the wealth, like you've already got $1 million in the bank. How would that feel? How do you feel when you got $1 million in the bank? You feel confident. You feel you go out and do things. You don't think about the money. A lot of us are like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can go out Thursday because I get paid Wednesday, right? Like that thought process is never in there. That feeling of, ooh, can I afford it? Never creeps into your mind. You have this calm, this collect, this comfort of looking at something and being, yeah, I just don't want it. I could buy it right now if I wanted to. It's a different way of looking at things. Instead of can I, it's more of do I want to? So there's a very different level of thinking. And when you spend a lot of time imagining what it's like to have millions of dollars, maybe going to, like we've got a mall here called Fashion Island and then South Coast Plaza. There's two of them that are like ritzy areas. I think actually Fashion Island's maybe not doing well, but South Coast Plaza is still a rockin' mall. All your Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom's and whatever, all the whatever, Saks Fifth, all that crazy stuff is there. Right? So it's fun to go in that mall and walk around and look at the stuff and be like, man, I'd look really good in that suit. And it's a different, again, way of thinking. Do I walk by Neiman Marcus and go, I could never afford to walk in that store? Or do I walk by Neiman Marcus and go, that actually would look awesome on me and I'd love to own that? And you start to think that way. You start to feel that way. Same as with relationships. Being in the relationship, what is it when you're in the relationship? The comfort you have, the love you have, the confidence, the conversations, oh, I can't wait to tell them about this, like the excitement that happens during the day when something interesting happens. Again, it's those feelings. It's living in that feeling, and it takes us to a different level. Level, expansion, I mean, I don't know how you want to look at it. To me, it seems like level, and probably because I'm a video gamer, and then on top of that, I think for you sciencey people, but like valence levels of electrons, right? Orbitals, right? And, sometimes they pop out an orbital. It's a higher level, if you will. It's more energy. It's a bigger, like pushes out, however you want to call it. It's a way of looking at it. But when you get yourself to that higher level, because you're assuming and you're feeling the wish fulfilled, right? You're assuming the wish fulfilled, and from that feeling it, so getting that energy, getting to that level, the trick is how long we hold that. Let's continue. When through your persistence, this assumption becomes actual fact, you automatically find yourself on a higher level. That is, you have achieved your desire in your objective world. Your assumption guides all your consciousness and subconscious movements towards it, suggested end, and so you inevitably that you actually, create the event. It actually happens. I'm totally jacking up that sentence. The drama of life is a psychological one, and the whole of it is written and produced by your assumptions. The drama of life is a psychological one, and the whole of it is written and produced by our assumptions. The assumption gets us to that place. The assumption gets us to that energy. And as it says, you will manifest it when you finally get to that energy. And that's truly what it is. When you finally get to the level of millionaire, when you finally get to the level, and I don't mean having the money yet, I mean to the level of feeling like you have the money already. So many people are like, well, I imagine it, I see it in my hands, but are you feeling it? Are you really, truly imagining the house that you're living in and how friggin' cool it's going to be? And the first time you pull it up and when you sign your name on the deed, how excited you are that you just bought, a multi-million-dollar home or that you just ended up in a multi-million-dollar home living there. Sometimes it's better to go that angle, that I'm living in the place, not necessarily that I had to buy it, because sometimes you can end up living in phenomenal places without necessarily paying for them. So there's a lot of ways things can happen. It depends really what your goal is. And sometimes, if it's wealth or if it's a relationship or if it's new things, a new job, new car, whatever, you've got to get yourself in that energy space. You've got to feel what it's like to have it. I don't mean being happy, because happy you should feel all the time. Happy you should feel regardless of this external circumstance. Happy is a choice we make. Am I going to be content with the day or am I going to be upset about everything? It's our choice. It's what we focus on. We put on that filter. That's what we see throughout the day. So it's not an issue of happy. It's an issue of what does it feel like when you have this. If you had $1 million in your pocket, if you had this person of your dreams, your SP, in your life, what does that feel like? Again, it doesn't feel like love because you already love them even when they're far away. It's different than that. It's feeling the closeness of warmth. It's feeling the smell and smelling it, right? When you're hugging them. It's that comfort, that's the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Not, ha ha ha, I feel happy. No. You're going to be happy all the time. You're happy if I hand you $5. That's not what you're trying to manifest, though. So, no, that's not it. That's not the wish fulfilled. The wish fulfilled is that experience. Now, the last chapter, our last sentence, let's try that word. Learn the art of assumption, for only in this way can you create your own happiness. Assumption. You know things are working out. So again, I kind of don't like this because it still puts sort of happiness and tying it to what you create. But at least it has you assuming something to create your happiness. At least it's putting it in your hands. So I still feel like, I feel like Goddard, I feel like you're slipping a little on this one last sentence in this chapter. But still, to the point of so many of us ascribe happiness to this thing that we feel we want to create, right? We're unhappy right now because maybe we're having a hard time paying bills. Maybe our heart's broken because we had a breakup and we really want to get this person back. Or there's this person that from afar we just long for because they're so wonderful. Or I need to get a new job because I'm frustrated, don't like my boss, right? When you're coming at it from a place where, I don't have it, it sucks, things aren't right, you really got to change that focus into the place where you are going. The assumption of where I am going, that there is a brighter tomorrow, that there's something to be hopeful for. Because that is what keeps that energy in that higher place, knowing full well I'm creating tomorrow. Right now, I'm creating my tomorrow. So by knowing that, it allows me to feel way better about what tomorrow may bring. When I keep looking at what I'm lacking right now, it makes tomorrow seem like another day of today. And man, that sucks, and I don't want to do that. So again, the assumption of the wish fulfilled. Even if you're wrong, you do it often enough, you're just going to feel better about stuff, frankly. And by the way, that has positive benefits too. Even if it doesn't necessarily bring the exact same thing they're trying to manifest, but you're just in a better state of mind most of the time, you'll actually find that all sorts of things start to work out better in your life, not just the manifestation of your specific person or the $1 million or the winning scratcher or whatever the heck you're going for, the boat. It makes a big difference when you get yourself into that energy space, when you feel it as the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So there's a lot of people, and this is the last thing I'm going to follow up with here. There's a lot of people, the naysayers, that a lot of times say, hey, if you're just thinking good thoughts, right? All I got to do is just think good thoughts and make my world good. No, that's not entirely true. That's not what happens. That's not how it works. It's larger than that. I love how people simplify things, try to make it so black and white. Well, if you're just saying you think good thoughts, everything happens. No, it's more than that. And it's not just feeling it, because feeling it's very important. Don't get me wrong, but it's not just the one time feeling it. No, you've got to become it. And when you become it, then you allow it. Or when you allow it, then you become it. Either way, becoming it and allowing it are in the same little circle. You get yourself to that energy. You get yourself to that level. And you realize this is how it feels to have this experience. And you hold yourself in that level as long as you can. One of the fun things you'll find with wealth, and it's just a good example because I see it happen a lot, and I've seen it happen with relationships too, with people, and it happens in both cases. And what will happen is with wealth, it's just easier. You'll get yourself to a level, you'll establish something will happen, you'll make a good month, you'll make a bunch of money, something weird will happen, like the abundance will start flowing in. And then we'll go into an old thought process, and we'll dip ourselves back down energetically. And then all of a sudden, things aren't quite working out like they were just a minute ago. And some people panic and go, oh no, I've lost the touch, I lost it. Then you just spiral down. Other people go, oh, I just let myself dip back down. Let me get that back up where I was. Let me start thinking and feeling how I was. And then, boom, the stuff starts to roll back in. It's a level. And when you dip under that level, you lose it. When you get up above that level, you have it. You are it. You become it. So for a lot of us, it's getting to that level and staying there. That's the trick. That's the secret. How long's your manifestation going to take? I don't know. When are you going to get yourself to that level? When can you get yourself there? When you can, and when you can hold yourself there, then you have it. Dan Radio Style.